following is a production of the Department of Broadcasting and Journalism at Western Illinois University.
I'm Andrew Ball. Coming up, the News 3 I-Team investigates how Western Illinois University notified students of last week's blizzard.
And earlier we saw some snow flurries. Storm Team 3 will let us know if more snow is on the way. Also, as parts of the state are recovering from tornado damage, scammers may be trying to make a profit. How to protect yourself ahead.
Live from Salee Hall in high definition. News 3 starts now.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Live at 4. I'm Devin Brooks. Our coverage of last week's blizzard continues as the News 3 I-Team investigates how Western Illinois University notified students of the storm. And joining us now is Andrew Ball with more on that. Good afternoon, Andrew.
Yeah, good afternoon. That's right, Devin. A number of students were stranded as they made their way back to the university in the massive blizzard following the Thanksgiving break. In an I-Team investigation, I set out to find how and when administrators alerted students and staff of the storm that would later close the university. On Sunday, November 25th, a massive blizzard moved across western Illinois, dumping more than a foot of snow in some areas, with high winds causing whiteout conditions across much of the state. On Friday afternoon, before the storm, News 3 first reached out to the university asking for information about students traveling back to campus on Sunday. University spokesperson Darcy Schinberger responded, "I have not heard anything yet, but I'll check with those who make the decisions." The following day, Saturday, November 24th, News 3 reached out again at 7:17 a.m. At 7:23, Schinberger responded, "I'll have to check." About 30 minutes later, News 3 received an email from Schinberger saying a notice to students regarding the weather would go out later that morning, which it did at 11:45. However, that notice was not sent to students via email. How come that didn't go to students via mass email? I mean, it was posted to social media, but it wasn't sent to students via their email account.
Historically, we have only communicated with students via email, text message, or a phone call, or all three, if you will, for in the event of a closure or certain types of events.
According to Oster, the university does not send mass emails, text messages, or phone calls to students unless it's an emergency, like a school closure or a tornado warning similar to that on Saturday, December the 1st. At 1:23 p.m. on Saturday the 24th was the first public mention on social media about rooms at Olson being available at a $21.20 charge. But why weren't all residence halls reopened for students who wanted to return before the storm?
A lot of our housing staff are students, the RAs, the complex directors, so they're not here during the week that we're on break because the halls are closed, other than the limited number of staff who are in Olson Hall.
On Sunday evening at 8:30, the university announced it would be closed Monday, but for some, it didn't come soon enough. The first email that was sent to students was the campus closure Sunday evening, with the amount of students that were stranded, some at shelters, some at warming centers. Was it too late? Do you think it was too late at that point to have just then issued the closure?
Hindsight's 2020. I can't answer should we have closed earlier. Again, it seemed to get very bad very quick, and we were relying on people who were out in the field, our emergency operations person, our local law enforcement, who were giving us updates on that.
You can catch the full interview tomorrow on our website, including a message the two had for students stranded in the storm, and a very scary trip for those who made the trek back on that Sunday in a storm that killed a Macomb man due to exposure.
Yeah, it's definitely a day we won't forget. Had a lot of people talking. Yeah. Andrew, thank you.
You bet.
All right, and if you at home have something for the News 3 I-Team, contact us at our email, news3wiu@gmail.com, or through our social media pages. Well, on Tuesday, we shared some tips on preparing your vehicle for the winter weather. Now News 3's Andrew Stevens has more as we gear up for the season.
Driving during the winter can be a very daunting task for many. Snow, ice, and wind can quickly become a very dangerous mix for travelers. Owner and manager of Dad's Garage in Macomb, Mark Lovell, says to make sure to drive with caution in these conditions.
Don't slam on your brakes. Gently press your brakes. Pump them gently. When accelerating, don't accelerate hard. Accelerate slow and into the gas pedal. As far as steering, go the opposite direction, as we were all taught when we got our driver's license.
Lovell also advises drivers to pay attention to the news during snowstorms.
When they say stay off the roads, stay off the roads. When the state police say the road is closed, stay off the road. That's why you end up in the ditch. If you gotta go somewhere, you know, make sure people know that you're going somewhere.
If you are planning to travel during snowfall, make sure to check that your vehicle doesn't have any problems that may lead to an accident.
Check those fluids before you leave. If your battery's a little weak before you leave and you know it goes but it does start, maybe it's time to get another battery before you leave on that trip.
Whether you are traveling 2 miles or 200 miles, always be cautious when driving in these conditions. For News 3, I'm Andrew Stevens.
Every year, nearly 76,000 Americans are injured or killed in winter weather-related crashes. And following the recent severe weather in Illinois, residents should be on alert for potential scammers offering services. Illinois Attorney General Lisa Madigan offers these tips for residents. Ask around to people you know and trust before using a service. Always ask to see a license for the business. Never pay in cash. Check with the Better Business Bureau to see if the business is a member or has any prior complaints. And make sure you fully understand the contract and get a signed copy. And you can contact the Consumer Fraud Hotline in Springfield to report any suspicious activity. Well, WIU administration has released a statement on the state's approval for a new budget. For fiscal year 2020, the Illinois Board of Higher Education agreed to increase funding by 16%. WIU says they're pleased with the recommendation to reverse the trend of declining state support by requesting an increase for Illinois public higher education. The new budget requested money for additional funding for grants like MAP or Pell. The Illinois Board says those programs are important to keep high school graduates in the state for higher education. Well, coming up on Live at 4, with the recent outbreak that had romaine lettuce recalled, is it finally safe to eat? That and more coming up on Live at 4.
National Broadcasting Society helps the future of broadcasting get the tools needed to succeed in an ever-growing media world. At Western Illinois University, the professional connections students bring to our chapter of NBS have opened doors to networking possibilities that students otherwise wouldn't have. The opportunities we are given as students at WIU allow us to make connections today for success tomorrow.
They gave me Vicodin after my knee surgery. They kept prescribing it, so I kept taking it. I didn't know it would be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
I chose Western Illinois University because I could get involved right away. You're going to gain experience. I'm going to be able to just become successful right out the gate. I'll be a news reporter and eventually become a news anchor one day. I've always felt that as a strong speaker, I could be a voice for the voiceless. But as long as I continue to believe in myself, work hard, and show that I want to put my best foot forward, I think that anything is possible.
Live from Salee Hall in high definition. Live at 4 continues.
Welcome back. After a massive romaine lettuce recall due to an E. coli outbreak, many are wondering if it's safe to eat again. The FDA is offering an answer to that, saying only if you know where it's coming from. Reed Binion has more in today's Health Minute.
It's been several weeks since a massive recall pulled romaine lettuce off store shelves across the country. So is it safe to eat again? The Food and Drug Administration says yes, as long as you know where it was grown. The FDA says only 6 counties in California are linked to the current outbreak of E. coli. Here's what you should look for. If the leafy greens were harvested in Monterey, San Benito, San Luis Obispo, Santa Barbara, Santa Cruz, or Ventura, don't eat them. But romaine lettuce grown anywhere else is believed safe, the FDA says. 43 people have been infected with E. coli in 12 states, including 16 who have been hospitalized. Federal health officials are still investigating the outbreak and which specific grower is behind the recall. Until then, they warned that if you don't know where the lettuce was grown, you shouldn't put it on your plate. And lettuce sold at stores should be labeled with its origin, so check before you buy. For today's Health.
With the stress of finals in full effect, students at Western Illinois had the opportunity to relieve some stress with furry friends. Man's best friend in all sense of the word, students at Leslie F. Malpass Library were able to de-stress Wednesday with 3 golden retrievers. These dogs are certified therapy dogs from Rockingham Golden Retrievers. Students were able to pet the dogs before hitting the books hard for finals. Well, a new brewery is coming to Macomb with a name you won't forget. News 3's Emily Stern reports on what the business will offer and how it will impact the city.
You may have noticed a construction happening at the old record store on Lafayette Street. This is a location for Forgatonia Brewing. Managing owner Sean West has been a home brewer for more than 20 years. He says it's strange for a college town to not have a brewery.
That was really my inspiration and what I wanted to do and bring to Macomb.
West says the inside will have a bar for people to enjoy 6 different types of beer on tap, while the outside will be used as a beer garden.
West says Forgatonia Brewing will also have snacks available and is looking to partner with food trucks. He says he would love for the brewery to be a bridge between WIU and Macomb.
We definitely have a disconnect between the university and the town, and we would like to be a part of that solution.
Forgatonia Brewing was named after the movement in the 1970s, which claimed the Western Illinois region was deprived of transportation and infrastructure projects. West says he aims for the brewery to get more people to Macomb. He says it will be community-oriented by collaborating with local businesses and musicians. Reporting for News 3, I'm Emily Stern.
Forgatonia Brewing is set to open in late April or early May. Well, coming up next, Jared Streeter will have your 5-day forecast and winter temperatures for the weekend. Coming up next.
I learned broadcasting for 3 years in high school, so towards my senior year, I was pretty much invested in wanting to pursue a career. And I do enjoy it now, but I'm searching for a way to make sure that it's something that I want to pursue after college. That way, I'll be able to wake up every day and say, this is something I want to do, this is something that I love, this is something that I can teach, I can spread, I can affect people with.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. It always came back. You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
I was living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
think you're doing, Kevin? Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie. Nailed it. We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on, man, let's put a ride home.
Welcome back and good afternoon, Macomb. Currently outside we're seeing temperatures at 30 degrees. Our dew point is right around 21 degrees. Northwest winds at 10 miles an hour. Our average high around this time of year is 40 degrees, which we are much below that. Our average low is about our high today at 21 degrees. Our record high, which would be much more favorable today, at 64 degrees. Our record low at -4 degrees. Thank God it's not that today. Clicker not working. There we go. And looking at the flurries that we had earlier today, you can see they're kind of moving their way out of our area, being moved by this high pressure system. So it's kind of heading southeast of us, so we're not really going to have to worry about that any longer. As you can see here, that is the moisture that is moving out of our area, so we're not going to have any more of that snow flurries. Again, that's the radar for the moisture moving its way out of our area. Currently outside we have degrees around 30 degrees. Burlington, we're seeing 31. In the southern part of our region, we're seeing high 20s and low 30s. For tonight, we're going to see mid-teens in the northern part of our area in Quincy, Beardstown, having 19 degrees. 29 degrees in Macomb, and 31 in Beardstown, 31 over in Quincy. Tomorrow night, we're going to see temperatures in the teens as well. High teens in the west part of our region, and the south part of our region, we're going to see 20s. For tonight in Macomb, we're going to see a low of 16 with winds north-northwest at 9 miles an hour. Tomorrow, we're going to see a high of 29 with wind northwest at 5 miles an hour. For our 5-day forecast, on Friday, we're going to have a high of 29. Sunny skies for the most part, partly cloudy, no rain in the forecast or winter precipitation. Saturday, we're going to see a low of 33. Sunday, high of 35, and Monday, high of 33, and Tuesday, a high of 39.
Well, after the past couple of weekends, everybody's wondering about the weather this weekend, but it looks just cold.
Yep, just cold, very brisk, no more blizzards, and no more tornadoes.
I know, you'll be keeping an eye on it. Well,
Yes,
thanks,
sir.
Jared. Well, for our last broadcast, we have to say, let's see what's heating up in sports.
Well, things are cooling down, Devin. You've got it all wrong. Coming up next on Live at 4, we discuss the holiday break schedule for both the women's and men's basketball teams. First off, the men were on the road last night, trying to put together their third consecutive win. How would they fare on the road in warm Florida? And the Leatherneck women are coming off a loss late to Bradley. We look at their schedule for the weekend, coming up next in sports.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Welcome back to Live at 4. I'm Zach Stone. The Macomb High boys basketball team have had a tough run from their first 3 games. 3 straight losses on the 14-game season, but Jeremy Anderson's team have the chance to string together a couple of wins early next week. Back-to-back games for the Bombers against the Galesburg Silver Streaks could mean the start of an early season turnaround for the Bombers. Like I said, 0-3 from those first 3. December 11th and 12th, the Bombers will be in Galesburg. Tip-off for those games are set for 7:30 on Tuesday of next week and 1:30 on Wednesday. And early in the season, the WIU men's basketball team have had a mixed bag of results. 4-4 going into yesterday's road game at Stetson in DeLand, Florida. At one point, the Leathernecks did lead by 16 points, but a bad set of ball movement down the stretch saw WIU lose that lead really quickly, like 8 points in 2 minutes. During the game, the team turned over the ball 14 times, giving up 23 points along the way on those turnovers. They'll have to turn things around going into Saturday night, a matchup against Eastern Illinois in Western Hall. Tip-off for that game is scheduled for 7 p.m. And the WIU women's basketball team starting the season a little bit slower than in recent years, 3-6 through their first 9, but the chance to right the ship over the weekend with 2 key games. It's tournament time for the women. If you love in-state rivalry games, you'll love what's going on for WIU. First on Friday night, the Leathernecks roll into Carbondale to take on Eastern Illinois in the first game of the Compass Challenge. Tip-off in that early game is set for 4:30 p.m. And then just 1 day later, the women will be back at it for game number 2 of the challenge when they take on Northern Illinois. Early game again for the Purple and Gold, tip-off at 1 p.m. in Carbondale. And the WIU women will need to look for their new top 5 member of the WIU women's scoring list here at Western. Taylor Higginbotham hopped into the top 5 after putting up 21 points on the board against Bradley. She's got nearly 1,500 career points and has the rest of the season to try and climb the list a little bit higher. And things are getting tight in the NFC North with 4 games left to play. The Chicago Bears are in the top spot of the NFC North, but this weekend's game could mean a huge decider on how the playoff picture looks. The Bears will have the frigid cold of Soldier Field on their side when we pit the NFL's 2 youngest and some say best arms against each other. Jared Goff and his Rams will travel to Chicago at 11-1 on the season, needing just 1 game to clinch the NFC West. For the Bears, they will hope to have Mitch Trubisky back under center after he missed the last game. Early reports saying he should be back with that shoulder problem. Nearly 2,500 yards on the season for the second-year QB. The Bears will need him healthy if they want to make a run at the playoffs and possibly a Super Bowl. That's sports. Final word is next.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Nobody likes an awkward silence. You can actually use it for something good.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Once there was a boy who did the same thing again and again. One day, he was told he had autism. He got help and slowly learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Getting that college education, what are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else? Or will you dare do something different? Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills, the smarts. Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget. That'd be cool. Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself? What are you gonna make of me?
WIU's new 2019 calendar has just been released, and it features 2 well-known furry faces. As you see here, retired K9 Rocky and new mascot Ray attended the party for the calendar debut. They greeted shoppers this Wednesday in the University Bookstore. The calendar is on sale now for $5.50 and is also available to purchase online. That's going to be a hot item.
Yeah, I mean, you might have to pick one up, Devin. Those are a hot commodity here around Western for sure.
Everybody loves the dogs. Well, Jarrett, as we're studying for finals this weekend, it's just going to be cold.
Yep, very cold. It is definitely a good weekend to just stay inside and read the books. Again, cloudy skies, high in the mid-30s, and lows in the teens, and that is about what we're seeing for the weekend.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us for our final televised newscast of the semester. We will be back next year in February. In the meantime, we're online all the time. Stay up to date with us, news3wyu.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Just search our handle, News3WIU. You can also search for us on YouTube and subscribe.
Thank you for joining us this evening.
From all of us here at News 3, happy holidays and have a good night, Macomb.